Chapter 5, the focus is on the ultra wealthy, the super wealthy, the super class. The number of names have been attached to people who fit into this category. In this chapter, the focus is on people who have a lot of wealth. Not people who are just wealthy, maybe people who have several $billion to their name, but we're talking about people who are multi-billionaires. These ultra wealthy people who live very differently than people like you and I. And I say you and I because I am not ultra wealthy, and I'm guessing if you were ultra wealthy or came from an ultra wealthy family, you probably could have bought your way into Harvard or Princeton or Yale or one of the other Ivy Leagues. These people not only live differently than you and I, the way that they structure their lives, the way that they structure their investments and income, etc., enable them to remain very wealthy. Whereas many of us are taxed on the income that we make, that is, the money that we make for going out and working. Um, Wealthy people, ultra wealthy people, are taxed differently because they rely on capital gains, and the capital gains tax is much lower. There's a video in this module in which the capital gains tax is explained, how it works, and of course, one of the ideas that has been kicked around for at least as long as I can remember, so at least a few decades now, is whether the capital gains tax rate should be increased. And of course, there are many arguments against it. Most wealthy people will tell you it's a bad idea. But the reality is this: income taxes were once higher than they are now on capital gains, as well as income taxes on money that you make. Corporate taxes were once higher than they are now. And so all this gloom and doom that people often predict about the terrible things that will happen if corporate taxes were increased, if the capital gains rate were increased, etc. That didn't happen 50, 70 years ago. So why do we think that it would happen now? Do we think that wealthy people would stomp their feet and stop investing in the stock market if instead of paying a top tax rate of 20% on capital gains, they had to pay a top tax rate of 40% on capital gains? The reality is that most wealthy people will pay far less than the top rate for capital gains. Many of them pay between 10 and 15% on those capital gains because they can write off other things. Sorry about that little link there. So again, fascinating chapter to learn how the wealthy live, how they educate their children, what they expect of their children, and how they are able to use federal laws, tax laws, to continue to get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. And that generational wealth enables their children and their children's children to continue to accumulate vast sums of wealth, while the rest of us are struggling to stay in the middle class, which is covered in the next chapter this week.